Are being spread by some in the mainstream media, so what is the truth? Let's separate fact from fiction with someone who knows.
Yeah, here to help us with that is retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer. Nice to see you this morning.
Good to see you all.
All right.
A lot riding on your knowledge this morning, sir.
Help
A
break
lot.
this
Here we
down.
go. Yes.
So let me get to the
for
first
ride.
question.
Sure.
We'll set this up for you, and you respond, fact or fiction. Is this a Muslim ban, as some have portrayed it?
Absolutely not. I mean, look, India is the largest Islamic population in the world. Nobody's being banned from coming from India, Indonesia, other nations. Complete fiction. Let's be very clear on this. You're talking about 7 war-torn countries, and let me do an analogy which people are going to be upset about, but it's clear. During World War II, when we were at war with Germany, you sure as heck would be screening Germans to make sure none of them were Nazis, because the Nazis were the enemy, not the German people. So the same thing here. We're looking for a way to vet individuals coming from war-torn areas. It has nothing to do with religion or faith. This is about specific areas.
A related question about faith, of course, is that the suggestion that Christians are getting priority in coming in from these countries.
Yeah, they are. Let's be very clear on that issue. The whole idea of some of these programs are to preserve those who are most threatened. And I'm sorry, Jim Sciutto's an idiot over CNN. Of course, this program has always been set up for purposes of looking at religious individuals who are at risk. Being a Christian in these areas essentially amounts to a death sentence. And I think this is something that people have been trying to rectify and bring to the attention of the previous administration to no good avail. I've talked to Assyrians, I've talked to Yazidi Christians who were the first to be the ones whose families were taken, were sold off into slavery or worse. So I think you have to consider the fact that those people, Christians, are the most at-risk group within these contexts of these locations.
Well, and here's where it gets complicated. How do you separate the good from the bad? I mean, who's to say you can't be a refugee and lie about being Christian to say, yes, of course I am?
Well, that's the issue here, the deep vetting issue. This is something that has not existed at all before. You've got to now, I think, by the standards, and I'm reading through myself, learning, you've got to actually establish a basis for what your claim is. The idea of just being able to say, Clayton, or one of you show up and say, hey, I'm threatened, I don't like what's going on. You have to present some level of evidence saying there's something going on here. It's not a bad thing. It's just saying you got to actually say what's going on and why you're in that special category.
All right, fourth question here, Tony. Is there a cap on refugees in this plan? Is there a cap on that number?
Absolutely, and there always have been. Under George Bush, there was 70,000, for example, Syria. I think President Obama had 70,000 as the cap. Donald Trump has lowered that cap overall, receiving these refugees to about 50. So it's not a huge declination. It's not a prevention. So again, it's complete fiction that there's this whole idea that Mr. Trump came up with this on his own.
Okay, we got 30 seconds, Tony. How did they come up with the 7 countries included in the ban?
Based on legislation signed by President Obama back in December of 2015, also then modified in February of 2016. This is all based, like so many things Mr. Trump is doing, based on legislation President Obama signed.
You're not going to hear that in the mainstream media.
No, you're not.
Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer.
We appreciate you coming in.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.